Welcome, guys. Good evening. If you can see me and hear me, please type something in the chat box so I know. Super. Thank you. So what do you think about the title? What are you expecting from this course? Let me know in the chat box. 5 love languages. What do you think is going to happen here? Valentine's Day. Okay. What else? Build on your relationships. Okay. What else? Art of loving. Interesting. I am expecting the different behavior and patterns to nurture the health of relationship. Wow. Communicate your love in a way your love understands. That is interesting. इस बार आपके स्टाइल में वैलेंटाइन विश करेंगे. The language that makes the bonding better. Psychology behind relationships. Language which people love. Okay. Interesting. So there is this very wonderful book called 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. And we are going to kind of summarize this book here. And we're going to look into it a little bit from the NLP perspective. The primary audience for this training is those who have already completed the NLP training. And is there a limit of 100 here? Okay, hold on. Okay. Mehernosh,
Yeah, let me check.
take it
Yeah,
on for a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, I will just tell people to come on YouTube, those who cannot join on the.
I'll try to change in the lip. Okay, take it. We'll take it here.
Yeah.
All right. So, what, according to you, are these 5 love languages? People who have already, I think most of you here have completed the NLP practitioner at least. So, what basically are you looking at? What do you understand? See, one thing which is in common between the NLP and the love languages is the language component. So according to you, what is it that we are looking at when we talk about 5 love languages? I'm just reading the messages which are already there in the chat. Communicating, understanding better, loving with self, okay. Rapport, okay. Respect, very interesting. Anita has written, build amazing relationships with daughter and hubby. And that brings a point over here that are we talking only about love as in romantic love? Near, given the fact that Valentine's Day is very near, or will this apply to any kind of relationship? Yes, it will apply to any kind of relationship. Space. Very interesting. Vidya saying space to each other, be themselves. How many of y'all have heard this, these words from someone, or heard someone telling somebody that, you are my world. तुम ही मेरी दुनिया हो. And does that convey more love? Upma saying no. What can it convey? Think about it. We think we are conveying the love over there. What can it convey? Attachment. Yeah. हाँ, फिल्मों में तो सुना ही है. I'm saying real life. And what does it convey to the other person? Possession. You are my world. Is that giving space? Think about that. Okay. So yeah, Pavan, you can continue.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Meher.
Welcome.
Good. So how many of you have been in a situation where you think you are doing everything to let the other person feel that the other person is loved? And this is not only in a husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend relationship. Okay, this is any relationship. It can be a parent-child relationship. It can be a brother-brother relationship, brother-sister relationship, sister-sister relationship. Sometimes even a colleague-colleague relationship, where you think you are doing everything for the other person to feel good or feel loved, and the other person thinks you are doing nothing. Or sometimes the other person tells you I'm doing everything, but you think the other person is doing nothing. How many times have you been in this situation? Right? Now, what do you think could be the reason here? What could be the reason? We do everything, or we do whatever it takes, or we do whatever best we can do, or we do whatever it's known to us, and yet the other person thinks you're doing nothing for me. Or sometimes the other person is doing a lot for us, yet we feel the other person is doing nothing for me. What could be the reason here? And this is precisely what Gary Chapman has talked about in his book, The 5 Love Languages. A very wonderful book, a very awesome book. And then linking this with NLP, we have an entire session about this into the NLP Master Practitioner program. And today we thought, anyways, because Valentine's Day is coming up and our Master's Practitioner program is starting in March anyways. So let's do this session first and let it be open and available to all so they can also benefit from this. So let's understand a little bit here. How do you feel loved? What the other person needs to do for you to feel loved? Think about it, type in the chat box. What do you think needs to happen from another person for you to feel loved? Take care, give space, buy me food, give time, trust, response, communicate, belongingness, understanding, giving time, listening to me, providing support, give complete freedom, empathize, respect, be there, share ideas, affection, hanging out, space, peace, time. Okay. Empathy with love. Now, all of this, now as you can see, different people have different expectations for them to feel loved. Fine. Now think about a few important people in your life. 4 or 5 near and dear ones. Could be your better half, your parents, children, your siblings, and a few of your friends that are really close to you. And think, what do you think would require by them for them to feel loved? If so many people here have different ways to feel loved, obviously so many people in your life will also have a different way of feeling loved. How you love is not what I am asking. What you do to show your care, to show your love, to show your affection is not what I am asking. Do you know what needs to happen for them to feel that they are loved? Tidy home, children's high score, spending quality time, hearing them out, giving attention, do what they say, remain quiet. Now, these answers that you have given, what you think about how they would feel loved, are these your mind reads or is this your sensory acuity? As in, have you asked them? Do you know it from their words, or is it your opinion about how they should feel loved? More often than not, your opinion about how somebody feels loved will be derived from how you feel loved. You will think that if this is how I think I feel good, then when I do this, that person will also feel good. When I get a gift, if I feel good, then when I give a gift, that person will also feel good. When I listen to the person, if when the person listens to me, if I feel good, then if I listen to that person, the person will also feel good. And many a times there is a contradiction here. How you would feel loved can be very different from how your friend, your family, your colleague, your whatever feels loved. And this contrast, when it is properly addressed, then it does wonders in a relationship. So this training is about all relationships, where love is supposed to be there and where it is a transaction, not really love, like a professional relationship. Even there, even in a professional relationship, when the other person knows that you care, there will be a better professional relationship coming out. How does that person feel loved? How do you feel loved? These two can be different, and finding out how you feel loved, so you can communicate it rightly to the other person, finding out how the other person feels loved, so that you can come, so that you can uh, express love in that manner, will help you blossom that relationship. And in his book, Five Love Languages, Gary Chapman has come out with five fundamental things, five wonderful things with which uh, people feel loved. All you need to do is identify these people around you, your near and dear ones, they fall in which category, and express love in that manner, and you will see relationships change wonderfully. There are a few people here who have already done the master's program. They have applied this on their relationships. They are already benefiting from this. When you all now learn this and apply this, it will be even more awesome for you all. Okay. So we are going to look at these five languages. What are the five fundamental languages? What are the five fundamental methods, processes, ideas by which people feel loved? And of course, to tell you more about those five things, we have Mehernosh here, who has been a wonderful um, anchor of NLP in our community. He has been doing wonderful work on NLP. We have trained thousands of people till now collectively on NLP. And linking NLP, Neuro Linguistic Programming, the language that you use with yourself, the language that you use with others, and then linking these five love languages, it can do wonders to your relationship. So I'm going to hand it over to Mehernosh now. He will tell you what those five principles are. And then later I will come back to tell you how to relate it in different relationships. Okay. So with that, let me invite Mehernosh to take this over. Mehernosh, over to you.
Thank you, Pavan. Okay, so good evening, everyone. So excited to know more. How many of y'all have here have read the book Five Love Languages? Not read? Okay. Type in read or not read. Excited? Not read? Okay. Read? Okay. Most of you have not read. Some of you have read it. Okay, good. All right. So super excited to know. All right. So let me tell you, the good news is that reading the book is not mandatory to understand this, because we're going to make it simple to understand as if you have not read the book. So those who have read the book will find some similarities, yet I assure you'll get a different angle to look at it when you know the application from NLP perspective as well. So what is one of the key principles of NLP when we talk about being in rapport? What is that key principle that you keep hearing me and Pavan repeating at all times when it comes up to being in rapport? Type in the chat box. Flexibility, observe, meet the people where they are. Meet the people where they are and then take them to where you want them to be. Now, I want you to understand this entire topic of five love languages from this perspective. Pavan already gave a context setting that there are times when you feel you are doing the best for the other person to express your love. And yet the other person is thinking, do you really love me? And you wonder, abhi aur kya karu? What else do I do to express? Am I not doing enough? Think about all the relationships, not just love. It could be with parents, with children, with the people around you, with your team members. And you are thinking that you are expressing your gratitude, your love, your affection for them in the best possible manner. And yet, somewhere you realize that they still find something falling short, something not meeting their expectation. And you wonder that how come? What do you expect me to do to convince you how much I love you? So let me share with you what these love languages are and how can we bridge this kind of gap. Okay. So this is from this particular book by Gary Chapman, The 5 Love Languages, The Secret to Love That Lasts. Broadly, the 5 love languages that he has specified are these: words, gifts, touch, acts of service, and time, as in quality time. We'll go into each of them. They are just very, very high level perspectives over here. We will go into each of them. You will also learn that you also have a preferred love language, somewhere which you want to express love in, and a language which you feel most loved. Which means if you want your partner to express that he or she loves you, you've already written what they need to do, right? When Pavan asked you were typing that what they need to do for you to feel loved. Now, if you are having that awareness that what your partner needs to do so that you feel loved, that is good that you already know it. We'll see how to link with these 5 as well. But my question to you here is that when you are expressing love to your partner, by default, which love language would you be using, or in what way would you be expressing love to your partner? Just think about it. By default, what kind of things would you be doing that express love to your partner? Words, spending time, combination of 2, 3, touch, okay. And okay, type in taking care, what we like. Exactly. That's what I'm coming to. Whatever you think you are using to express love to your partner, if you look at, that is probably the thing which makes you feel loved, isn't it? Type in, would you agree or no? The way in which you are expressing love is probably, most probably, the same way in which you expect to receive love. Yes or no? So if I read what you had written earlier about how you are expecting to learn that you are receiving, yes, you are receiving love, right? Communicate in a way that your love is understood, or just reading it, like bringing food, giving time, care and respect, space, having a good response, belongingness, understanding. You're probably communicating your love in the same way, because that's the way you have learned that you receive love. But that is the point here, is that is the way you are receiving the love. That is the way you realize that the other person is loving you. And by default, you are applying that same method, that same mode to communicate your love to the other person. You have already seen in the earlier chat that the way you like to receive love is probably different from other people's ways, isn't it? You wrote something, somebody wrote, like someone said, bringing me food. And you would say, no, bringing me food is not a way that I would like to feel loved. I prefer time or care or respect or whatever. Which means by default, there are different filters which are applying. I love to receive love in a certain way. You love to receive love in a certain way. Your partner loves to receive love in a certain way. And that certain way in which your partner loves to receive love may be different from the way in which you love to receive love. Could that be possible? What is coming to your awareness already? And by default, what is happening? By default, when we are not taking the effort or trying to find out that, what is falling short? I'm doing my best. What's falling short? What is probably falling short is that you are doing the best as per your love language. How about figuring out what their love language is? And then understanding what to do. Meet the person where they are and then take them to where you want them to be. So how to bridge this gap? Let us see each of these categories in detail to see that what are the ways in which love is expected and what are the ways in which you can take action depending on the other person's love language. So let's dive into this now.
Just a quick one, Meher.
Yeah.
This is for everybody here and everybody who is listening to this on YouTube as well. There will be some references to NLP because the expectation is that you are an NLP practitioner as we teach this. However, if you have not done NLP at all, either with us or with anybody else, then still listen to this, absorb whatever you can, and at the next immediate opportunity, do the NLP practitioner course as well with us. We generally do that free of cost for everybody. So you can drop me a message later and I'll tell you how to sign up. Meher, over to you.
Great. Thank you, Pavan. All right. So we'll begin with the first category, the first love language, which is words of affirmation. And which NLP category can you relate this to? When we talk about words, what comes to your mind? Auditory. I'm not talking about the metamodal violations and all, but auditory. People like to hear. They like to hear or they like to know that they are being loved. Do you know people around you who keep telling, I love you or I care for you? And you wonder, bhai, kitni baar bolega yaar? Samajh mein aa gaya. What does that tell you about that person? Fake. They are being auditory. They are expecting. They are telling you the same thing. They need love being expressed that way. And probably you feel, Kare, bataya na. Still, yes, that is their love language. You might buy them gifts. You might do something out of care. You might use physical touch for them. But still they feel that, pura din chala gaya. We spend the whole day together, but not once you told me that you love me. And my God, you wonder, bhai, pura din kya kar raha tha? Whole day I was expressing my love only, no? But no, what they are expecting is words of affirmation. It could be either being told verbally or written in whatever form. Right? So let's see this. 1 minute. I'll just share the screen. What happened? Okay. So the point here is how do you communicate here? They need constantly to be affirmed. They need words of encouragement, appreciation, empathizing that they are getting a verbal confirmation from you at every given point that they are being loved, or that what they are doing for you is mattering to you, that they are playing a significant role in your life. उनको बार बार बताना पड़ता है, जताना पड़ता है, बोलना पड़ता है. You have to keep telling them as often as you can. Another thing is that when they are telling that they love you, instead of even in your mind thinking that, हाँ यार पता है, how many times are you going to tell me? Listen, acknowledge. Type in the chat box. Do you know some people like that? Also, do you think you are falling in that category somewhere? Many people, yeah. And think how you are treating these people. Yeah, yourself. Interesting. So how to make sure that you create a loving relationship with them? And this applies to all the love languages. Somewhere we find that thing which breaks the rapport is that I have a different love language from you. But here, what is the outcome? Ultimately, we want to be in harmony. We want to have a proper relationship with each other. So how about doing whatever it takes to maintain the relationship? So what are the do's over here? What do you need to do? What helps a lot is, rather than just saying because they have said, rather than expressing your feelings verbally just because they have said and you are responding and retorting that, okay, yeah, I also love you, they like unexpected bouts of surprise that, oh, I love you, or something that you are saying out of care. Even an unexpected card, although we said that it more relates to auditory, but sometimes even the visual reading of the words is also making a difference. Some card, some text, some note, letter, love letter, some poem, you don't need to be great poetic for it, because what matters over here is not your expertise of being creative or bringing out your art forms over here. What matters over here is the thought that you had that made you think about writing something to them. Messaging at the right time, messaging and acknowledging what they are doing and conveying to them that, yeah, you do like it that they did that and you care about them. Encourage them often and, very important, genuinely. One thing that we keep studying in NLP is that how you can be congruent between your words, your thoughts, and your actions. So just saying to them because you now know that is their love language, that is not enough. You have to mean it. Because then, they are also expert in calibrating when you are meaning something and when you're not meaning something, when you're just saying for the sake of saying it. So be there and mean it and genuinely tell it to them. What are the don'ts? What you should not be doing over here? They are very, very sensitive to criticism. What matters to them is the words of affirmation, and what can actually cut them off is words of criticism, especially which is non-constructive criticism. Labeling, putting them down, or saying negative things to them. Now, does that mean that you don't correct them? Does that mean that you don't give negative feedback? Of course you do. But in NLP, you know that how to use the feedback sandwich. You know how to use your tone of words. People who are in the practitioner, rather who have done the master practitioner here, have learned that how to use the tone of words to convey the right kind of meaning. Right? It should not be sarcasm. It should be genuine. Sarcasm or negative feedback, which is not constructive, or labeling or attacking at the identity level. Those of you who have done in the practitioner course, the logical levels, when you say you are like this only, or you are stupid, or you don't understand things. No, that doesn't work. The tone of voice also matters to them a lot. Not just what you are saying, how you are saying. So if you genuinely want to give them a feedback, give it to them in the form of feedback sandwich. What are the things that they have done well? Appreciate them for that also. What are the things that they can do better? Convey that as well. And then what is the way forward? Make people understand this behavior is different from the natural behaving. Exactly. Right? Don't label them. Another thing not to do, big not to do, is ignoring them, ignoring their words, not recognizing that they are saying something, just taking for granted. हाँ यार हमेशा वही बोलता रहता है, क्या सुनने का, क्या बोलने का. Don't do that. Even a brief eye contact to acknowledge what they are saying is good enough, or not appreciating what they are saying. And tell me one thing. I want you to reflect on this. The places where we are not paying attention to all of this is most likely all those relations which are the closest to us. Think about it. Because somewhere we expect them to understand, right? We expect them to understand where we are coming from. In fact, some of you might already be thinking that why should only I be bothered about their love language? They should also be concerned about my love language, isn't it? Yeah, they should. But who can you change? Where do you begin? From yourself. Especially for those relations where it's very close, somewhere we have started taking things for granted, that they should understand what we are going through. They should understand what I like. Kya baar baar wahi bolta rehta hai. But remember one thing, whatever you are expecting them to understand, they are also expecting you to understand. And you can just genuinely make an effort to understand. And one step from your side can only get you closer to them and probably encourage them to take another step from their side. Isn't it? I will share with you how to find out their love language also. So there is a question already that, how to find out their love language. Upma is saying that not necessarily. Think about it. Resistance of any kind is a sign of lack of rapport. Remember the principle in NLP. So we have seen a lot of NLP techniques. In Master Practitioner, there are many more. The love language is just one of the other techniques that help you to build rapport and figure out where they are. So that's about words of affirmation. Now, while whatever we are saying applies to love relationships, of course, applies to professional relationships, to family relationships, to extended family also. So I want you to start thinking already on those lines that how will this work with a professional relationship? With colleagues, with team members, with clients, with suppliers, with working partners. We will later address the whole thing from that perspective as well. But the same thing applies even in appreciation at work, as well as in bonding in terms of love relationships. Yeah, Karishma, that's right. Okay, next one. The next love language is the language of physical touch. Have you seen people or know people who probably try to get very close to you? They like to pat you, they like to hold you, they like to touch you. And you wonder कि भाई इतना क्यों चिपक रहा है? The reason probably could be, it need not be anything negative or anything bad intention from their side. Need not be. It could just be a kind of static feel that, okay, I like to touch. I've expressed my love through touch. They like to receive love through touch. Maybe some of you here can even identify yourselves with that. Or especially with someone, maybe a particular child in your family. You may love that touchy thing, but may not be with all family members. So yes, we do have a different love language at times for different people as well. And we also have a mix of various love languages. So we'll talk about the mix element and all later as well. Yeah, your eldest daughter is like that. Thank you for sharing. So become aware. Rather than labeling them ke chipku hai ya kya hai, realize that they just need that sense of touch. Now, how do you communicate over here? Do you also start changing things at your end? If you, let's say you don't like touch, what to do? Let's see. Okay. So firstly, how do you communicate with them? Non-verbal body language is good enough for them. It is about expressing through physiology. Even a pat on the back, even holding hands, even a touch somewhere is good enough. Physical doesn't necessarily have to mean sexual touch. It could mean a plain platonic physical touch as well. While talking to them, if you are explaining something to them, they will probably understand better if you just tap on their shoulder or on their arm. Samjha beta? How are things? And that belongingness comes more when they feel that they are being included by virtue of a physical touch. Even any kind of touch, like pat on the back, is also good enough. What are some of the things that you can do? Show physical affection. They like to be surprised with a touch. And again, physical affection, how do you show? Yeah, by hug. What else? They feel comfortable and secure with a physical touch. What else? Handshake. Yeah. Even a high five. And like Hitesh is saying, virtual also works. Sometimes in a virtual meeting, we say, oh, high five. Karo yaar, kya fark padta hai? It's good. They feel that, they can actually feel that you're wanting to touch. It's just the technology is like that. You can do it. Yeah. When I tickle her, she gets glad and happy. Yeah. One little smile. Yes. Just few things. Even if there are people whose love languages is physical touch, they also like to get surprised or expect a surprise touch in public. Now, that does not mean necessarily public display of affection, not the PDA type. But just in public also, if you're holding hands or if you're walking, shoulder to shoulder, holding each other, they like that. Or even from time to time, just, you know, touching hands meeting, a high five, yes, flying kiss, yeah. So they like kisses, hugs, holding hands. They want intimacy to be a thoughtful priority, especially in couples. They like when time is set aside for a physical romantic evening as well, or whatever time of the day suits you. But they like it when the partner removes time, especially for this. What do you think you should not do when people's languages of love is physical touch? Ignore, yeah. Respond very coldly. Push them away. Stay away. Don't do that. They feel hurt. They really feel their heart broken at that time. They don't realize that it's just because your language is not probably physical touch. Or maybe you may be someone who may get embarrassed by public touch or holding hands in public, but they want that. So what can you do? Let's say if you really don't like that public wala touch, what can you do? How can you meet them where they are and then take them to where you want them to be? Yeah, look in the eye, wink, okay. Let's say they are making an advance to you, to touch you. They are your romantic partner. I'm not talking about a stranger over here. They are trying to touch you in public. They're trying to hold your hand in public. And let's say you get embarrassed. What should you do? Respond. Yeah. The last thing you do is cut it off or remove your hand from there. Respond. Smile. Maybe you can remove your hand from, let me show it. Maybe you can, let's say they're holding your hand. Maybe you remove your hand, you touch it, you express, smile, like the fact that they touched you, show that you like it, remove your hand, then gradually tap their hand, tap their shoulder, and say that you like that. Rather than, not here. Are you able to relate to what I'm saying? That small thing, that small difference that makes a difference can actually make them feel appreciated and also respect from where you are coming from. That okay, you like the fact that they were trying to touch you and you pat them and okay, acha, abhi ke liye itna. But while you are still respecting them, while you're still smiling with them, while you're still with them, meeting them where they are, right? So don't get into physical neglect. Don't like shoo away from what they are doing. Also, another don't is long stints without intimacy makes them doubt whether you are into them or not. Because intimacy, physical intimacy is probably important for them, especially if it's a love partner. And again, receiving coldly, ha, acha, I know you like it. They can sense on your face, yeah. And especially people who are kinesthetic are really sensitive to the way you respond to them. So if you're responding that thanda wala response, like this, they will sense it. आप इतना धीरे धीरे से भी निकालोगे तो they will sense it and they will feel offended about it, right? So be there with them as they are, like acknowledge that. Is there a possibility that love language can change over a period of time? Yes, there is a possibility. We'll talk about that. We'll move to the next one. Gifts. Do you know people who, whenever they meet you, they come up with a gift? And you wonder, भाई क्या formality है यार? How many of you all know such people who come up with a gift every time? Or even if you want to just meet up for a coffee or just a chat because you like them and they like you, but वो बाबा गिफ्ट लेके ही आता है, and then you wonder भाई मुझे भी कुछ गिफ्ट लेके जाना पड़ेगा. Yeah, I am like that. Okay. So think about it. Their love language is gifts. They like to receive gifts. They like to express love by giving gifts. They don't worry about, it's not a formality for them. You may think it's a formality. कि क्यों formality करता है? Ah, great. Thanks for sharing. But it is not a formality. They are not trying to be formal. You may say, "Arey, छोड़ ना ये सब क्या, क्यों, why all this, you're doing?" But it is just the way in which they love to express love. So how do you firstly, let's talk about, before you talk about showering them with gifts, what should be your mindset towards a person who is giving a gift? Sometimes on special occasion it is fine. Okay, grateful. Exactly. What else? What should be your attitude towards giving them gift? Surprise them. Not to be overdoing. A person whose love language is receiving gifts will get turned off if you are giving gift only because that person is giving gift. Like Asmita has written, like, I like to give gifts, but I don't like to get from others. Why does that happen? Because you think that because you have that habit of giving gifts and dusra wala de raha hai, so you may feel that because I am giving, that is why that person is giving. The person whose love language is gifts does not like a quid pro quo deal. It's not a transaction. मैंने दिया, तूने लिया, हो गया. Deal settled. They are not doing it as an expectation of receiving a gift in return of the gift that they are giving. Understand this nuance very clearly. I'll repeat. They are not giving you gift with the expectation of receiving a gift from you. They are giving gift because they like you. And the best thing you can do at that point is just accept it with happiness and gratitude and grace. They like to see the smile on your face when you are receiving the gift. That is the real aha moment, actually. Isko pasand aaya. I brought a gift that you liked. So it's not necessary that in every meeting you go, you carry a gift just because they are carrying a gift. So then, what kind of gift would make them happy? Think about that. Don't confuse such people as materialistic. Some people say, "Kitna materialistic hai? Gift में ही love express करता है. Gifting का game चल रहा है." Not like that. Appreciation for gifts. Gifts can be showy. Exactly. So they are not necessarily into showy things. Don't confuse them with materialistic people. Not necessary at all. So then if you are giving a gift to them, what kind of gift would work best for them? Which they need, but not like to afford it. Okay. Personalized. Yes. Something that is useful to them. Something which probably they would have bought for themselves. And now they're receiving from you. They should not feel that you are doing it as an obligation, as a return favor, as a return gift. Something which is personalized, customized, and which is unexpected. Like you may say that I would like to receive things only on a special occasion. But what works more for people who are into gifting, whose love language is gift, is more when it is not a special occasion. Your gift, in fact, makes it a special occasion. Diwali, birthday, occasions, पे तो सब gift देते. But you say, I've brought this for you. It was totally unexpected, thoughtful gift. Now, what could be thoughtful? What do you mean by thoughtful? In trend, may or may not be in trend. The trend is not the key thing. Thinking about the person when it is not customary. It's like saying, I went to the shop, I saw this thing, and the moment I saw it, I thought about you. And genuinely mean it. Don't just say it because now that you have learned that is a nice way to put it across. Things that are gifted to them because you thought about them. Their thought came in your mind when you were looking at that thing and you just picked it up from there. That is a thoughtful gift. Rather than going, see, there are two different ways to buy a gift. One is, let's say I want to buy you a gift and I know what you like and I go shop hunting for that thing which you like. That is also nice. I knew you would like this, so I went and searched everywhere and I brought it. But what can make it even more special is I saw this thing in a shop and I just felt that you would love this. And I'm expecting here that you would have calibrated that they love it. Yeah, matching the gift to the people. And that makes it even more special. Then whether it's an occasion or not an occasion, it's just that you got it, and when you meet them, you're giving it to them. So that is the power of gifts. Thoughtfulness, making it a priority that, okay, I care for you, that's why I'm giving it to you. And there is a purpose behind it. Purpose as in not the purpose of a selfish purpose, or purpose as in you think nice about them, or the purpose is to express the love to them. Do's over here, thoughtful gifts, personalized. Yeah, if you can personalize it further by putting their name, or giving a diary with their name embossed, or a pen with their name embossed, or something which really matters to you, to them. Or let's say, putting a small note in that gift, which talks about a reference that they had made about an item like that. On so and so, when we met there, you talked about this. You can even combine the words of affirmation with the gift. Okay, so one more thing. When we are talking about how to match the other person's love language, it doesn't mean that the rest of the love languages you don't use. You can combine. Okay, you can use, you don't have to stop doing the other things which you're already doing only to match this. Small things with big impact. As I said, it's not about being materialistic. It's not about necessarily expensive gifts. It could even be a small showpiece, or a tabletop thing, or maybe a pen, something with some kind of ink that they like to write with. Anything. It could be any small thing also. Very important thing when you in do's, when they are giving you gift, receive it with gratitude. Don't shun it away. Don't receive it coldly. It could even be chocolates. It could be roses that you are giving. Even that is good. Even food that they enjoy, that is good. Or I was making this food at home, or this food was being made at home, and I thought that you would love it, so I brought it for you. The don'ts over here are forgetting occasions. If you forget their birthdays, their anniversaries, they actually feel a bit upset about it. Maybe the guy with the physical touch or the words of affirmation, they may not be bothered. But for this one, whether you are gifting them or not, even if you call them to wish them, that is a good thoughtfulness that you're putting into it. Another thing that they don't like is receiving enthusiastically as a formality. Arey yaar, fir se leke aaya, chalo main le leta hu. Don't do that. Be excited about receiving whatever they are giving you. If you don't like what they are giving, be excited and receive it, and then give them your feedback in the feedback sandwich form, which you have learned in NLP. Okay. Another thing that they don't like is obligation, or a transactional favor, return gift. So be clear about that as well. Okay, so we are done with 3 languages out of 5. 2 more to go. Let's here pause and reflect a bit. If you have a piece of pen and paper with you, I want you to write there that which people in your life have you observed who fall into the category of these 3 love languages. Based on your observation. Well-wishers, elder son is words. So I want you to pick up each one, each category, let's say words of affirmation. And which people around you have you noticed to express their love or appreciation through words? Then take the next category, physical touch. which people whom you know express themselves are those touchy feeling types. Gifts, which people around you are in the category whose love languages is gifts. You might even find some people coming in more than one category. Great. Good, good. Good. Wonderful. Good realization. Start becoming aware of your own love language as well. Okay. Now, when you're writing about the three people, specific people, not just don't say friends or well-wishers or children, specific people who is doing what. Like the way Vasudeva shared, you don't need to share over here, but at least on your paper, I want you to write down in each category who are the people who you can find that, according to you, fall in that category of love language. And then I want you to reflect on what is your relationship with them, as in your equation, your current equation with them. And this is the important part. Do you think you are in as much rapport with them as you want to be? Do you think something is missing? What do you think is missing? Are you expressing yourself enough in the way in which they want to receive love, using their love language? Are you meeting them where they are? So let this starting point be there of awareness, that what is it that you can do to start making the difference that makes the difference. Later on, you can even reflect that what tools of NLP can help you. Especially people in the master practitioner, you have many more tools than people in the practitioner. So I want you to start thinking about what tools can help you to bridge that gap. Okay, we'll move forward. Let's move on to the next love language, the fourth one, which is the love language of quality time. Spending quality time with the other person. What would this entail? What do you mean by quality time? What do you think? Type it in the chat box. What elements would come in this category? Undivided attention, undivided time, giving 100% attention to them. Be there anytime. Listen to them. Do not disturb. Being attentive, sharing emotions. Yes, be there when they are expecting it. Live in the present moment. Like to be with each other. It could be watching movie, eating outside, sharing experiences, talking, just being there. It's like, you go for walks together or just be in one room talking to each other. Even silence at times is quality time. But silence doesn't mean that, you look into your phone and I look into my phone and we are silently sitting in the same room. Not that way, right? So we just be silent, being there, talking, holding that space for each other. And that was also good enough. Just the physical presence that you are doing your work, I am doing my work, we are there. And then still we are co-working together, maybe, but still we are there for each other. That sense of belongingness that we will be there, come what may, together. And removing time for each other, no matter how busy we are. So what is expected over here? Uninterrupted, focused, and one-on-one time. What you do over there? It could be creating special moments, going on holidays together, having some weekend getaways, going on walks together, watching movies together, doing some chores together, running some errands together, doing things that have to be done, but साथ साथ में कर रहे. It could even be like, like I remember when the lockdown was there, and there were times when during the lockdown, the courier guy was not allowed to come up home and deliver the letters and all, the courier. So the security would tell, "ये नीचे जाके लेके आना है. We have to go down and bring it." So very often, my wife and I would go down. We are on the second floor. We would go down together and we would bring it together. Maybe the other people seeing us may think, one small parcel lene ke liye, why two people are coming? But it was our version of just, whatever time we are getting together. Chalo, saath mein, we'll climb the stairs together, climb up together, and we'll bring it. So it could be even small things like that. Or when I was in the corporate world and I used to work till late, there were times when my wife would come to pick me up. And then we would come back together. Just quality time together. Whatever time you find with each other, do it that way. So you don't have to really find time out and put that. If you do that, put it in the schedule, even better. But I'm telling that every opportunity is there for you to just spend time together. Maybe cook together. Whatever you want to do. Have conversations, deep conversations, shallow conversations, doesn't matter. Just talk. It could be random small talk also. Or it could be really life-changing, transformative conversations also, using chunking, whatever you want to do. Okay. And silence itself. Holding the space for each other in silence is also great. The don'ts over here, distractions. Like, okay, you are spending time together, but then easily distracted to look into your phone or do something else. That is not counted as quality time, especially if your partner's love language is quality time. Long stints without we time. Getting so busy in your respective work that you don't even find 5 minutes to look at each other, to spend time with each other. At least you can have lunch together, dinner together, at least breakfast together, whatever, or just set aside 5 minutes of time to have coffee together. Even that adds value, because I know we are all busy in our own life. So that's about quality time. Do you know people who say that, time is spent nahi kar raha hai mere saath? You're so busy, you don't give us time. What are they looking for? For them, probably neither the words of affirmation matter, nor gifting matters, nor touch matters. Or they'll say you only want to spend time when there is touch involved. They're looking for time beyond that. If their language is quality time, they just want those small moments of time that you can sneak out, that you can steal away from your busy moments, right? It's the longest period of time after marriage. Lockdown में सारा दिन एक साथ रहकर भी you wanted more time together. होता है, right? Yeah, very good point. People do complain. Because you felt you spent time together, but each of you was doing work from home. Children were doing study from home. That was actually not a quality time, unless you took advantage of that to convert that into quality time. That effort need to be put from your side. right? But such kind of over attachment is good. Very good. Very good point. Is it over attachment? I'm not talking about over attachment over here. I'm talking about the minimum quality time that you can give. I'm not saying that leave out what you're doing and keep doing everything together all the time only. My wife used to come to pick me up only when she was free. Not that she would leave her job and just do everything and come to pick me up. Now time balance karo yaar. Because you also need to give space to the other person. But wherever possible, you sneak out such time together. It's not about being overly like, दोनों एक दूसरे के लिए साथ साथ है all the time. You know when to apply what time together, isn't it? Then how soldiers' wife do if they don't get time with the husband? Exactly. Very good point. But even there, quality time could be just making a call whenever possible, and they understand that. Okay, fine. Everything. It's a very valid point, and it's not about everyone cannot get the love language they want. But at the same time, what effort can you put from your side to make that happen? Next one. Acts of service. Very often you find people complaining, okay, you're not loving me enough. And you say, Bhai, I'm giving you gift. I'm giving you enough intimacy. I'm spending time with you. और क्या चाहिए? Probably the person's love language is do something for me. मैं अंदर क्या करूं? अपना काम छोड़ के क्या करूं तुम्हारे लिए? Now, what is the answer over here? Exactly, preparing one cup of coffee, doing some chore that that person would have done anyway. And again, here it doesn't have to be big. It is just that you gave a thought to something for them that they would have done, you did it for them. So there were times in the lockdown, as I told you, we would go down together. But majority of the time, my wife would go alone and bring it. Because I would be busy in my online sessions. I would be doing work from home. So she would go around and bring it. Bring the parcel. Quality time ke time pe we would go together. But there were times when I would surprise her. If I was not in my online session, I would go out and I would collect it. Anyway, security call aaya hai, parcel hai. You would have gone, you wait, you do your work, I'll go and bring it. Even that much simple is an act of service. Something that you thought that the other person's responsibility, job role, duty hai, whatever that person would have done as per your predefined household rules also. Just that you thought of doing it and you brought it. Yeah, pull the chair to sit, drop the kids, showing care by doing any small gesture, put the shirt buttons, very interesting, yeah. Make braids early morning for my daughter. Yeah, such small thing. Open the car door, right? There is a joke, right? Nowadays, when you find someone opening the car door, it can be only in two situations. Either the car is new or the lady is new. But you don't have to wait for it to be new. You can do it even in the recurring mode. Yeah, get tiffin from outside, order something, make some small thing, or just, bring out something from the fridge and say, Chalo, I'm having it, you also have it. Like that. So act of service, again, doesn't have to be something big. Action phrases, okay, sometimes what happens is that even the fact that you thought of helping them is good enough. Even if you say, I'll help, मैं करके दूं, they may wonder के भाई तुम्हारे बस की बात नहीं है, मत करो, that will be better for me. But still you offered, let me do it, can I help you? That is good enough for them. आज रोटी बना देता हूँ, हाँ, बोलेगा मैं ही अच्छा बनाती हूँ, मत बनाओ. But the fact that you even offered बनाने के लिए, that is good enough for them to express that, oh, you are willing to do some act of service. Do something with them, do something for them. it is very much appreciated. So what are the do's over here? What you must take care of? Do chores, again, for them, with them. You can do cooking, cleaning, working, whatever they would have done anyway. You are just taking it up and doing it. Even better if it is a sense of going out of the way and doing it. Elevate their workload, something which, again, that they would have done, and you are taking the onus on you or just doing it for them. And what should you be cautious over here? Very minor nuance, but it can be a big trigger for them. मेरे लिए कभी करके नहीं देते, उसके लिए करके दिया. You never do it for me, but because the other person is now there, you are doing it for them. That can really cause them hurt. You are doing an act of service, but for someone else. Especially if that is their love language, then they are sensing that you are expressing love to somebody else, which is that bad. Okay. So if you do want to do it for them, for somebody else, then pehle do it for your partner. Meet them where they are. Get them on your side. Share with them that it will be nice if we do it for them rather than I doing it for that person. We will do it together. अच्छा लगेगा उनको. Then they'll say, हाँ, ठीक है. अच्छा, we should do that. Okay, so these are minor ways of tackling these kind of issues. Lacking follow through. कि भाई करने के लिए किया and then क्या हुआ? You said कि I'll help and then when I asked you to help, you are not there. फिर बोलने के लिए बोला क्या? यार चाय तो बना दी लेकिन शक्कर ही नहीं डाली. तो then what are you expressing? You're just doing it for the sake of doing it. Rather, don't do it. So that is again where it can fall through the cracks. And another thing is obliging. They don't like being obliged. Okay, because I am doing my part of the work or I am doing something for you, इसके लिए you are doing something for me. Like the gift transaction. They don't like just a transaction. कि मैंने किया इसके लिए तुमने किया. It's not about returning a favor. They don't like favors to be returned that way. Yeah, countering would be a mess. Or counter was a mess. Okay, which context I don't know. Okay, fine. All right. So my husband said that I will make tea and cut his hand by peeling ginger. So और काम बढ़ा दिया. Yeah. Now, what you should not do. One more thing you should not do an act of service. What do you think? Criticize what they have done. Yeah. Grumble, complain, overdo. इतना भी मत over करो that your things get taken for granted. And it's a very fine balance, which again is something that we cover in the Master Practitioner about how to balance between the freedom and the structure. But here is a very fine balance about how much would you do without being taken for granted. And at the same time, I told you while you are doing it, don't jatao it, don't make it feel obligatory or transactional or a returning a favor kind of thing. That's a very fine balance. You are doing it while somewhere they realize that it was something that they would have done and that's why they appreciate you doing it. And you are not pom-pomming that you did it. You're not kind of देखा मैंने तुम्हारे लिए करके दिया. You're not making it sound very obligatory as well. And at the same time, don't overdo it to such an extent that your deeds start being taken for granted. Of course, don't just say it and not do it. And don't grumble while doing it. Don't complain while doing it. करना है तो करो. मजा आ रहा है इसके लिए करो. Right? So these are the 5 love languages. So on the sheet that you prepared about the first 3, I want you to now add these 2 as well. And reflect on who are the people who are expecting quality time Who are the people who are expecting acts of service? What is your current equation with them? What is missing? Are you meeting them where they are? Great. Identified people in each category. Absolutely. Good. My friend expect me with quality time. Kids expect all of this. Very interesting point, which we are going to come to now. Okay. So what one principle applies in all of these is, as you realize that there are people who would have a preference of one of these over another as a love language. The fact is that we all have a combination of all of these. We all would like to be loved in all of these languages, yet we do have a preference of one or two top ones over the others. So if I say that, someone's love language is gift, that does not mean that they don't want physical touch. Or if someone's love language is quality time, that does not mean that they don't want act of service. All of them matter, but to various degrees, to various extents. And you will find that you would like to also sometimes communicate or receive love from different people in terms of different love languages. Yet there will be a predominant preference of one over the other. So I want you to become aware of that. And now what I want you to do is write down, based on what you have just understood, which one do you think is your own love language? It can be a mix, yet there will be a predominance of one or two. Which are your top two out of the five? Become aware of that. Great. Thanks for sharing. Meeting expectation is a love language. All these are expectations only, no? When you say meeting expectation, it is in which category? The expectation could be act of service or it could be quality time. What are you expecting? Whatever you are expecting will fall into all of these five, and there will be a predominance or a preference of one or two over the others. Good. Now, as you're becoming aware of the love languages that you have, also look at the names of the people that you have written in each category. And see what love language were you serving them. You might realize by default you were serving them your love language rather than their love language. This is the first part of being aware of this disconnect. The second step is understanding your outcome with respect to that relationship. Are you happy with the current equation that you have in each of those relationships, or do you want to do something about it? If you want to do something about it, then the third step is your behavioral flexibility. How can you meet them where they are rather than meeting them from your point of view, expressing love in your love language rather than that expressing love in their love language? And that is where you apply the 3 pillars of NLP: awareness, outcome orientation, and behavioral flexibility. And in doing all of that, you build the rapport with the other person, with your own self, that what is it that you want to convey and how you want to meet them where they are and take them to where you want them to be. Okay, so I want you to type in, what are your reflections at this point of time? What is coming to your awareness based on this understanding of your love languages, other people's love languages, the gap between them? Everyone has a different model of love language. Yes, we should make some changes in our behavior. So far, it was just ignorance. Yes, jab jago tab savera. It's perfectly fine. Now that you are aware, now it is time for action. Loving them in their love language is important. How to convey our love language to others? Okay, let's talk about that. Had never known this in detail. Yeah, and there is a lot more detail. I'll share that also with you. Just adjust. Don't have to just adjust. It sounds very kind of, you know, it sounds like you are giving only importance to the other person and not to your own self. It's about balancing. It's about we together rather than I versus you. I was not there. Okay. Avoid overdoing acts of service. Came to know about my love language, how to bridge the gap. Need to observe others' love language for better relationship. Yeah. What if I am aware of my love language but partner is not? How to bridge the gap? Very good. Let's talk about that. How to convey my love language? Yes. Now you are all wondering कि अभी partner का love language समझ में आ गया. ये समझा कि मुझे क्या करना चाहिए. Partner को कैसे समझाए? What do you think? Yes, Karishma. What do you think? How do you convey your love language to your partner? Wow, nice one, Vasudev. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. How do you convey your love language to your partner? Communicate, express, talk to them, know your love language and theirs, and let each other know how to love us. Exactly, that is what it is. The very fact that you are now wondering how to tell my partner about it, that itself suggests that somewhere there is a lack of rapport. Build a rapport, talk to them, and you can even tell them, meet them where they are. I have figured out that this is what you like, and I would like to do more of that. And I'll also share with you what I like. Right? Even after communicating doesn't happen, then what to do? Build more rapport. A resistance of any kind is a sign of lack of rapport. Figure out what are you doing that is not enough, that is it's not falling enough for them. Are you meeting them where they are? Are you using their visual, auditory, kinesthetic words? Are you matching and mirroring? Or are you coming from a space of you, I versus you, instead of we together? So there is one more tool that can help you. And that is a link of a quiz on the website of 5 love languages. Don't jump to it right now. You can go and do it later because there is something more coming up here on love languages. So wait. So this is a good quiz for you to take, and it has quiz for couples, for teenagers, for children, for bosses. And you'll find another link on that website, which will take you even to love languages at the workplace, which now we'll talk about. And what I suggest is, although you have somewhere figured out based on your own observation what your love language is, take up the quiz and find out your own love language. Okay, those who have jumped to it, don't do it right away. We'll send you the link. Don't do it right now. Stay here. After the class, you can do it. You can also, in fact, when you're doing it for your own self, you can also invite your partner to do it together. You can tell your partner, do this. Very interesting. Be in rapport. In fact, doing it together will enhance the rapport. So you can do that as an activity itself together. And actually, there is lots more. Apart from this, to understand differences between two people, it is not just the love languages. There is more. In fact, if you look at when you are doing a couple matchmaking, what do you look at? You often do a detailed Kundli making, right? Have you ever thought of these kind of differences that are making the difference? The 5 love languages are just one of those differences. There are many more. And all those who are here from the master practitioner, can you type in the chat box, what are those differences that make the difference? What are those programs called? What are those filters or programs called? Meta programs, exactly. The meta programs. And there are multiple of them. It can even be, to give you a simple example. Let me give you an example. Think about a couple. Okay. One partner asks the partner, what happened today? How was the day? And the other partner responds, day acha tha. It was a good day. And this person is waiting. Tell me more, Baba. How was your day? But bataya na, I told you everything. It was a wonderful day. And the person is thinking that by this partner is probably hiding something from me. Is not telling me everything. But if you ask the other partner feels that I've told everything. मैंने कुछ नहीं छुपाया है. I don't want to hold back any information. चलो कुछ और बता देते. Okay, let's say the partner says a few more things. It says, I had a few meetings, I had lunch at this time, and I had a client meeting and it went well, and then we had a review meeting with our team and it went well. Bata diya. Now I've told everything. But the other partner is still saying, no, you are still hiding a lot of things from me. You've started hiding things. You don't tell me everything. Earlier you used to tell me everything. And this partner is wondering, bhai, I've told you everything. There is nothing more left. This is one of the other difference that makes a difference. In the meta program terminology, it's called as a big chunk and small chunk. Some people prefer to just say top level, high level things. Whereas there are other people who will talk every minute detail. Let's say this partner now tells the earlier partner, okay, acha, you tell me how your day was. And this partner readily starts sharing, oh, after you left for office, no, I did this, and then I made this sabji, and then I went down for shopping, and then I also had some work from home to be done, so I did this. And I spoke to this particular friend of mine, and he told me that, and then I told him this, and then this happened, that happened, and then at this time, abhi tak to sirf lunch time bhi nahi hua. Ab baap re, itna sara detail. And this person will wonder, okay, bhai, kahan pooch liya maine isko? And this is also one of the languages that connect with each other. Often we find a disconnect with someone because we are expecting minutest details and the other person is very big picture person, or vice versa. These are just some of the things. There are many more things in meta programs. So people who have done the master practitioner, I hope it was a good revision for you. And people who have not yet done, it is your time to go ahead with that. But we have one more segment on um, the love languages, on how to use them in professional world. So for that, I'll hand it over to Pavan.
Kami.
Hi, Pavan. You are on mute.
Hi there. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Meher. Lovely session.
Thank you.
As always, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. So, guys, now that you have listened to all of this, you have understood the 5 fundamental languages of love. Let's also have a look at how do you do this in Satya. How do you do this in a professional setup? Okay. So, of course, when it comes to professional, when it comes to work, when it comes to professions, love takes a little bit of a back seat. Transactions become the front seat. However, there are a lot of places where, feeling loved can do miracles to the professional relationship as well. And that has to be genuinely feeling love. Okay. So that can do miracles to the entire process. When people know that you care, they help you more as well. They care for you more as well. When your colleagues know that you care for them, your colleagues will care for you as well. However, you should know how will they feel cared, and they should know how will you feel cared. Correct? And for that, let us have a few examples, a few ideas of how to relate these into a professional setup. Okay. So the first language that you had seen, let me just share them here, was words of affirmation. Now, these words of affirmation, how would you do this in a professional setup? In a professional setup, words are not only spoken, they are also written. There are groups, there are emails, there are WhatsApps. There are so many other modes of communication that are open, right? Now, when somebody has helped you or somebody has supported you, or when somebody has given you some advantage, somebody has given you some kind of technical support, sending out a note of thanks can be a wonderful thing. One thing that is important here is sending out this note of thanks in public can be even more powerful. There's a saying that goes, always criticize in person and praise in public. And more often than not, people do it the other way around. They praise in person and they criticize in public. So when you criticize somebody in public, that person feels even more disconnected from you. And when you praise in person, the person doesn't feel as connected as the person would if you praise in public. Okay. Now, these words of affection, again, the concept is same: sending out a card, giving out the right message, giving out your what do you call constructive feedback, and giving it in a form that the person would feel good, whether it's an email or a card or whatever. Sometimes you can even give a simple card, right? In a professional setup, people like certificates. You can always go to micro if somebody helped you, or if somebody supported you, or if somebody did something good because of which your team could do something. Let's say you are the head of the team, going to Microsoft Word, putting a nice template for a certificate and saying, this is to certify that so and so has been of great help to me during this technical project, and actually printing it out and giving it can be wonderful, right? Now, employee rewards and recognition, as Yogin is saying, doesn't necessarily completely count towards this, because employee rewards and recognition are expected. After you do something right, you expect the company to reward you. In fact, employee rewards and recognition are counterproductive when not done, but they are not as productive when done. We are not talking about company employee relationship here. We are talking about your relationship with your colleagues. It could be your superiors, your peers, or your subordinates. Putting in a small document which looks like a certificate, putting in a small card that looks like a certificate can do wonders. That person will keep it with him, right? That person will see it multiple times. Not only while you are as colleagues, but even after that. Once in a while, that person will see it, think of you, recall you, talk to you. And then these relationships go a longer way, not only in that particular role or in that particular job, but even beyond it. So words of affirmation, if somebody's love language is that, then dealing with these people is comparatively easier, because it's easier to make those words of affirmation, whether it is in terms of uh, just saying it out or telling it in front of your team, or giving it out as a document, certificate, a small note, whatever. Somebody is asking अखड़ू बॉस के साथ लव लैंग्वेज कैसी हो, उसकी लव लैंग्वेज क्या है ये आपको पता करना पड़ेगा. It's not about how should your love language be. It should be, you have to first recognize what is their love language, right? Now what goes a little bit tricky in corporate situations is physical touch. In professional setup is your physical touch. Okay, here he comes, he likes physical touch a lot. I am 5 minutes back, 5 minutes. Okay, so 5 मिनट में आओ ना बेटा. Okay, fine. So now in a corporate setup, how do you go about it? Sometimes even patting the back is not an option. Sometimes even shaking hands is not appreciated. Any ideas, any thoughts? How would you go about this? People who appreciate physical touch, but you are not very sure whether you should, even pat the back or not, you should shake a hand or not. What do you do? A hi-fi is always an option, correct? Sending in a message, sending in a greeting, sending in an email with a picture in it where two people are shaking hands, with actually one person patting the back of another, and it can just be an outline. It doesn't have to be the actual photo or somebody, an outline of one person with a hand on another person's shoulder. And sending that and saying, thank you have been always with me. Thank you for your support. Creates the thought of pat on the back, creates the thought of a shake hand, creates the thought of patting on the shoulder in the mind of the receiver. So when you are not very sure whether you can actually go and pat on the back, whether you can actually give a high five, etc. And sometimes, you are not there physically. The entire team is working from home. You don't even meet physically. Yet through some meetings, through some emails, through some video conferencing calls, you have figured out that physical touch is the love language for a certain person. Then these kind of messages with pictures in it can be a wonderful thing. Okay, so that's how you use that in your corporate relationships. Now third is gifts. Many companies directly begin with a policy: no gifts, no giving gifts, no receiving gifts, etc., etc. Right? They want to ensure that there is no favoritism, etc. happening. Now what do? You identified that somebody's love language is gifts, and you also identified that gifts is not to be, and the policy says no gifting. So understand one thing: when a policy says no gifting, what that policy actually means is no expensive or super expensive gifting. A small gift here and there. For example, you know that somebody got a car. Giving a small keychain is still a great thing. And that won't come against your company policies, don't worry. You know that somebody just had a baby. Sending in a small gift for the baby is fine. You know that somebody has a child who just attended a drawing competition. Sending in a set of color pens for that child is still a wonderful gift. 10 रुपए, 20 रुपए, 50 रुपए का packet. Right? Emojis with gift in it is also a wonderful thing. So you have to identify how will it fit in the policy of the organization. How would you make it easy, simple, quick, and still the gift should be of value to the person. So like Mehernosh told you, the gift doesn't have to be expensive, but it should be valuable. A small flower can also be a good gift, right? Somebody just came back from a sick leave, real sick leave, not the sick leaves that you take because you can't take other leaves, but the real sick leave. Somebody just came back after 4 or 5 days. Let's say the person was really sick. Keeping 2 flowers on that person's table is a wonderful thing, right? Just to make him feel good. Provided you have identified that that is the language. Now the fourth language, quality time. ऑफिस में बैठे हैं, काम कर रहे हैं, if you are working together, you are spending time together anyways, right? But then what is quality time here? If you learn how to spend quality time with others in an organization, in your office, in your work, in your profession, trust me, you will actually save a lot of time. If you invest a little bit on conscious quality time with people, you will save a lot of time from stupid meetings and stupid conferences. If you are anyways going to work on something and that person is also going to work on something, saying that let's spend some time together and work on it can do wonders. Once in a while, if there is a group meeting happening, telling this person who likes quality time, telling this person once in a while, let's discuss this offline, let's discuss this one-on-one, can do wonders to that relationship. Let's say that person has taken some task in the organization outside of his project role. Generally, you have these things, right? Especially in larger companies, project-wide contribution, department-wide contribution, organization-wide contribution, and all this stupidity. Okay. So now, if somebody has taken up that, not stupidity really, but for some people it becomes stupidity because they're not interested. That is not their language of law. Now, let us say somebody has taken up some task like that. Just telling him, okay, let me help you here. What can we do together here? Somebody has taken the charge of organizing uh, the weekly party or the monthly party or the project completion party. Telling that person, let's go together to identify which conference hall to book is a great idea, right? Or simply telling him, chalo chai pe. There's one more thing that people do together. I don't want to talk about that here. It's a public forum. But chalo chai pe. Just going, having a cup of tea together, a coffee together is also a great thing. Sometimes sometimes a person doesn't like to go out for a tea or coffee. Getting 2 cups of tea in your hand, sitting near that person in the cubicle and saying, chal, let's have tea while we discuss something is also quality time. It also falls into acts of service because you got the tea and also you had the tea, right? And that leads us to the fifth one, acts of service. There are multiple and infinite ways by which you can actually apply acts of service into your professional relationships. Here you have to understand, even if the relationship is professional, we are human beings. Even if the relationship is of work, we like support, we like help, we like to be around each other, right? Any act of service. You know that somebody didn't bring his bike today. Chal, let me drop you. Act of service bhi ho gaya, quality time bhi ho gaya. I'll drop you somewhere. I'll drop you halfway. I'll drop you at your home. It's an act of service. You know somebody is not able to reach in time today for a certain meeting and just telling him, I'll take care of it. You send me the PPT, I'll take care of it for you. You send me that email, I'll take care of it. I'll discuss that on your behalf. Or I'll dial you into the call. Is an act of service, right? Helping somebody outside of the professional network for that person's personal challenges can also be a wonderful act of service, right? Somebody says, my mom has developed some infection in the ear. I have to take her to the doctor. Telling him, I know a couple of good doctors and I can give you those references is also an act of service. So what if the relationship is personal? So the relationship is professional. There is still a human factor to everything. An act of service, those whose language of love is act of service, establishing a relationship with these people is much easier because all you have to do is be available for a few small things here and there. So these are the 5 combinations. And one more thing very important that you need to know in all of this is there is nobody has only one language of love. There is always a combination. They have one preferred, but others also work sometimes. Identifying which is their preferred, which is their next preferred, and which is it that they don't like, and then accordingly working with them will do wonders to your relationships, whether it is corporate or whether it is, um, yeah, blood donation. That's a great example, Anand. If you know that a certain colleague is in colleagues, somebody, that colleague's relative, somebody is in need of blood because of some reason, and you match the blood group and you are available and you anyways do blood donations once in a while, going there is also an act of service, right? Some acts of service you should really do selflessly, like blood donation is better than selflessly. Some acts of service can be done with the attachment of an outcome to it. Yeah, okay, if I do this, that will also happen. Today I support him, tomorrow he'll support me. That's also fine. Okay. So Ria is saying, what if the other person does not react to any of the language? Won't happen, Ria. More often than that, it won't happen. Some or the other, somewhere or the other, there is always an entry point into a person. Like a computer has multiple ports. If the USB doesn't fit, use the SD card. If the SD card doesn't fit, you use something else. Like that, a person has ports. Something will fit in. You have to calibrate. Use NLP here. Calibrate, get in repo, and then it will be easier. Okay. So now Mehernosh will give you that link shortly, which you can use to identify the language for yourself, for others, for a common relationship. Fine. And then make sure you make good use of it. That is a link already by the author himself of Five Love Languages. So you are going to direct you to that site. And there, when you do this exercise, it will do wonders for sure. Many people have benefited. You all have benefited. You will also benefit. Okay. Before I close it, a quick word on the NLP courses. The NLP practitioner courses, we have now made them free, open to all. Although we still conduct focus batches where we only take 10 to 15 people in a batch. Those batches are still paid batches with 15,000 per person. However, the NLP practitioner course, which are open, where 100, 200, 300 people join at a time, they are not focus batches. Too much personal attention is not there, but still the content is good and safe. They are open and free to all. So those who have not done the NLP courses, please join in. This will be your opportunity to join in. We are going to share the links here on the chat box and also on the YouTube live for those who are watching on YouTube. The NLP Master Practitioner course is starting on 5th of March. You all are invited. It can do wonders. It is a lot of amazing stuff. Just like this was one meta program, right? Identifying what are the apps installed in a person and which apps you can use to relate better with the person. This was about love languages. There are many others. There are beliefs, there are values, there are so many other things that people work with. And when you start identifying them and working with them accordingly, it does a lot of uh, service to you, to them, to overall the relationships and to your growth. So we invite you to join the master practitioner course. Of course, you should have completed the practitioner first. Only then you become eligible to join the master practitioner's course. You don't have to be certified as a practitioner, but you have to have completed the knowledge at least to join the masters. To certify as a master, you have to certify as a practitioner. Okay. So those who haven't joined it, this is your opportunity. Drop me a message on my WhatsApp. I'll share the brochure with you for the master practitioner course. You can drop a message to me or Mehernosh, uh, and then we'll take you into that course as well. The master practitioner course is starting on 5th of March. It will go on for 5 months. Every Sunday evening, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. So it's a weekend. For the first time, we are doing it on weekends. Until now, it was only happening on weekdays. For the first time, we are doing the master practitioner course on weekends. And we might again switch back to weekdays. This was one time when many people asked for weekends. So we just are doing one course. Otherwise, you are busy with other courses on weekends. So this is your opportunity. Make best use of it. Join the NLP Master Practitioner course. If what you have seen today is a tip of the iceberg, there's a huge iceberg waiting there for you into the Master Practitioner course. So we invite you to join that as well. And thank you so much for joining. Mehernosh has already shared the link for that quiz where you can go and identify love languages for you, for your near and dear ones, and collectively for the relationship as well. I'm going to share my number here. You can drop me a message to ensure that you join the Master Practitioner course. I'll share the brochure with you. Drop me a WhatsApp message here. I'll share the brochure with you, the payment links with you. And when you join the master practitioner course, it's going to be a lot more such programs of humanity, of human living, of thinking, of patterns will automatically emerge. Okay. So thank you so much for joining in today. It's been a great pleasure talking to you all. And identify your languages and languages are near and dear ones, and get better and better at your relationships so that you lead a life of wonderful love and harmony. Thank you so much for joining. Mehernosh, any closing comments?
The only closing comment is one which we keep repeating in class, that the real learning happens outside the classroom. So go out there and apply what you have learned over here. And happy Valentine's Day, and have happy, long-lasting, loving relationships. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. And we look forward to see you into the masters. Have a great time. Bye.